Excellent. Okay. Okay, excellent. Well, welcome everyone, and sorry about the delay. We had a little technical difficulty, so hopefully this is all working for you now. My name is Colleen Walters, the founder of Your Inspiration at Home, and we are ready for a tea party, aren't we? Yeah. All right, so hopefully all of you in Australia, in the US, England, Ireland, and I believe we have some from New Zealand and Canada as well. So welcome everyone. I hope that you're all ready for a tea party at 11:30 in the morning in Brisbane, at 8:35 or 7 or 40 tonight in Eastern Standard Time here in Ohio. So we've got some fabulous helpers here today from our field team in the US from Ohio. And they're all going to introduce themselves as we go along and show you some great things to have with tea. Now you can do a high tea. We're going to show you a few things that we're going to do that you can do for high tea, or you could do a summer tea. You could do warm cocktails, and for those of you who need some winter warmers. And of course, Australia under the heat wave, I'm going to show you some cocktails, martinis, things like that, some coolers, of course, and mojitos being my favorite. I'm going to show you a twist on the mojitos. So it is a tea party, so the cocktails will be made with tea tonight. So how many of you knew that you could make cocktails from tea? We've got coffee in our cake. You can put tea in your cake as well. There's lots of ways to use tea, so hopefully you'll get some great information from tonight. Now, as always, I hope that you registered with your tea party at the Yahoo address, and we're going to do some draws right after the show for some fantastic prizes. All right, so we're going to give away some great things, and I'll tell you about those in a minute. Okay, so we always have some specials. And I'm going to start right now with the joining special, because I know some of you are watching who are not Your Inspiration at Home consultants. And you might be thinking, I don't know, it looks too hard, it looks too much for me, and not realizing that there's a great opportunity for you to join as a product enthusiast or addict, as many Your Inspiration at Home consultants are known as. So, one of the things to join right now in January, we have a great special that you get with your business kit. You get 2 free dips, the random choices, through the picking system. And if you're buying the executive kit, you get 4 free dips. So great value in January, which of course everyone's looking for some extra money in January to pay those credit card bills that come in February. Or if you're in the US, in some of the colder climates, you're probably thinking you need a vacation and to a nice warm area. This Your Inspiration at Home can give you that extra income to provide that warm weather vacation. If you're in Australia, you're thinking next year, I'm not dealing with this heat wave, I'm going to the snow. So you get opportunity to make some money to go to the snow. Either way, it's a win. All right. So what you get at the mega party, and this closes at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, sorry, 10 p.m. Brisbane, and Eastern Standard Time as well. You get, what do you get? You get a sweet bonus of chocolate powder and a dukkha. And it'll be a random choice as well from the picking system. All right, let's get into some production of these fabulous recipes we have now. So let's go over here and see what these ladies are doing. Carol, what, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Carol Hosteller, and I am working on a scone recipe, and it's got raisins and, of course, some of our caramelized balsamic vinegar, and also the country apple spice for a seasoning. And
Now this is exciting because you haven't done scones before.
No,
scones.
this is my first.
There's a whole
try.
debate on if it's scone or scone, and it really depends on what country you're from. So I'm not going to get into that debate. I'll end up using both there. So what have you got there? You've got flour and a rising agent, baking powder.
Baking powder and a little bit of salt.
All right.
And then I'm going to add my sugar.
Perfect.
And just mix it up a little bit. And then, of course, you want your butter.
Mm-hmm. And with scones, you can either use a pastry blender or your hand. It really depends on you, what you like. What you want to do is get the butter into little pea-shaped or pea-sized pieces of butter when you're doing it. Is that all good? Yeah. Okay. When you're mixing it, because you want that butter not to be fully mixed in. That's what gives it that kind of flakiness, like a pie crust. Excellent. Now this isn't my normal recipe. My normal recipe is stuck in my cookbook back in Australia, so this is a bit of a Google, and hopefully it'll be good. Now you've also got milk there. Now what have you done to the milk?
I added a little bit of the caramelized, actually a tablespoon of the caramelized vinegar to curdle it, plus a little bit of lemon juice.
Right. So you can use vinegar, you can use lemon juice in that. If you've got something like the Sauvignon Blanc vinegar, those of you in Australia, that's a great vinegar to curdle the milk. You can use buttermilk as well. What you want to do is you want to get that to create the kind of bubble action to give the scone a lift there. So she's going to make it up into like pea-shaped, or pea-sized, I'm going to say shaped, pea-sized pieces of butter. And you can always work more in as well. So if you feel like it's just not quite enough, I always find that there's a fine line. You don't want to go too heavy on the butter, but the one thing about scone recipes is they never exactly work out per recipe. You've got to be able to get a feel for it. Do you need a little bit more butter? Some people use soda, so ginger ale, in their recipe instead of partially with the milk, which gives it that lift as well. So there's lots of recipes out there. We're going to give this one a try tonight. And this is a sweet one. You can make them plain without your spices as well. I love to put the spices, and we've got a mixed raisins and currants, the golden raisins, and cranberries. So that makes a lovely scone on its own. You really don't need the cream and the jam when you've got scones like that. The other way I make them is grated cheddar cheese and either herb and garlic or the country onion dip mix, and fantastic savory scone. So I'll just let you work on that, and we'll come over here to do some cocktails. Okay. Now, where to even start on the cocktails today? I'm going to show you. I'm going to change or blow your mind when it comes to tea. Okay, tea doesn't have to be tea like you normally are used to. Oh, do we have any action going on the chat site there? Let's just make sure, see if we've got anybody chatting with us. Technology failed us a little bit today. Is it up and going just in case?
It says the chat site.
There'll be someone on the other end chatting. Hopefully Steve is there, so say hi to Steve if you are on the chat. It'll be working on the other end. All right, let's start with, I'm going to start with what I'm doing here, because these will be done. This is gin. So I've just used a basic gin, nothing too fancy here, and a masala chai tea. And what you do is, these are great little things. They're called tea sacks. You can use your tea ball as well. I prefer tea sacks or cheesecloth, because you don't get the grains through, the little pieces of the tea or spices through there. And a teaspoon of tea, a teaspoon to a tablespoon. And for a spirit, you're going to let it sit for about 20 to 40 minutes, depends on how strong you want. If you're sipping it, so if it's a sipping spirit, you're going to do about 20 minutes. If it's a spirit that you're going to then turn into a cocktail, you want to do about 40 minutes for it. So right now the rage is all of these fantastically spiced, flavored vodkas. I know that there's maple bourbon out there, so maple started, oak finish, whiskey finish. So there's a lot of things going on out there in the spirit and the wine and the beer, the craft beer industry with flavors. So what I'm going to show you is you don't actually have to buy it that way. You can have it with, you can use our spices, some of our spices in the tea sack, or our teas as well, and flavor your own. It's really, you can buy one gin and have as many different flavored gins as you want. You can buy one vodka and have as many different flavored vodkas as you want. So we've done a gin with the chai tea, which is fantastic. We've also done another one that really works well together. So your Jim Beam bourbon, any type of bourbon, and London Fog tea, if you can believe it. It's beautiful. It just takes that kind of vanilla flavor and the tea into that, with a little hint of orange into the bourbon. And then I've got a lovely vodka. I've had the opportunity to be down in Granville Island for our catalog shoot in Vancouver, and this is their second run on a triple distilled vodka. So I've got that one in there, and that is with Russian orange tea. And I know the directors at our last directors retreat, we sat down and we figured all this out, and we sat and just like this table here in Gold Coast, and had a taste and try of a whole bunch of different flavors. And those were our favorites, and those three fusions. Now, I'm going to show you one of our favorite cocktails. Maybe if I get to some ice. All right. And just bear with me when I get this ready. So one of our favorite cocktails when we were making, I'm just going to use this. You got it? All right, great. Was what we called the, let me just find it. All right. Okay. Well, I'll make this one anyway. The lemon soother. The other thing that you need to do if you're going to do a cocktail is a simple syrup. Now, the simple syrups that we do are just simply 2 cups of sugar, 3 cups water, and then you put in, I divided that into 3, and then you take your tea sack and you just plop it in like over here. So this really is how you do it. Can you see this all right? So you put the tea in the hot syrup. So you do your simple syrup, which is 3 cups water, 2 cups sugar. Boil that down, a light rolling boil. You don't want to make a toffee out of it. And then once you've done that, you divide it up into 3. Put your tea sack in while it's still hot, and for about 30 minutes. And I just every once in a while come through and just do that. And you can see that was a clear syrup before, and at the end you get this lovely rich tea color to it, and it sits in your fridge fine for a good couple of weeks. So what I'm going to do is what we call the Aussie Sunset Soother. All right, so we take, no, that's not the one I'm doing. I'm going to go back here. The Down Under Double Shot Twist. All right. So with this one, we want Lemon Soother, which is this one here, the syrup, vodka, Grand Marnier, orange pieces, and lemon piece. So Tina, if I could get an orange piece as well, there's oranges back there. I don't think we did those. All right. So I'm going to actually do it in the shaker here, even though I like to have it cold. I know that you in Australia want to have something cold, so we're going to start with you guys first. So the vodka, where's my little jigger? All right, so about an ounce of vodka, and I love to free pour, and Grand Marnier for a little bit of orange as well. So splash of that. We will have the recipes posted tomorrow, so you don't have to guess. And the lemon soother. Now I like sweet drinks, so I'm going to put a couple of tablespoons of the lemon soother in there. And the orange piece, I'm going to, and a lemon piece. So I'm just going to put a piece of a slice in there and a slice of orange.
It's coming.
All right. And a little bit more ice. Great. And I'll use one for garnish too. And get this on right, because we could end up with a disaster here. And the poor apartment owner would have to clean it up. And we're just going to shake it. All right. Do I like that? Yeah. Okay. Let's find a fun glass to put this in. I think this one more looks like the Sunset Soother to me. That one is right.
The glass is very important.
It is. Now, for those of you who like to have rim the glass, you would obviously do that before. Our orange sugar would be fantastic. I don't have that one here tonight, but there you go. That is what we call the double, down under double shot twist. Lemon soother tea, vodka, Grand Marnier, orange pieces, and a lemon piece there. So how beautiful is that? It is wonderful. Another one, let's go back and see how Carol's doing on the scones, because I think she's got those ready to press out. So Carol, what are you doing?
I am just about ready to cut some here. And I, tweaked the recipe a little bit, and now I've got
All right, and so you're going to flatten it out and just lightly flour. Any cutter will do. I use the glass when I'm doing scones. Great, and we're just going to lay those out on a cookie sheet once we get going. But that's, if you look at you can go higher. You can go, it depends on if you want a really tall scone or if you want one a little lower. So it really depends on what your use for your scone is. Some people use them for lunches or breakfasts when I do the savory scone. All right, that's how simple it is. Okay. Fantastic. Now, we've also got a lemon bar happening. Are you guys ready with the lemon bar? All right.
everybody's pretty quiet tonight.
All right, let's go and do this lemon bar up. So what have you done on the bottom here?
This is all going to be gluten-free, and that's flour, the lemon myrtle sugar. Shoot, I need these containers. Can I get my yummy containers? Yeah, lemon myrtle sugar and the lemon myrtle dukkha with butter and milk. These are the two that we used. And then the top, we've got eggs here that we're going to stir up, and we've got the zest of lemons and juice, sugar, and the myrtle dukkha that we're going to put together and bake again on top of this, and we'll have like a lemon filling on top for lemon bars.
Right. So the crust has lemon dukkha with cranberry already and lemon myrtle sugar already in it. So it's absolutely going to be fantastic for the base of a lemon bar. Such a unique base. All right. Fantastic. Well, I'll let you guys work on that for a second. Okay. We also have, let me just hang on one second. I need to get one thing. In and out. We've got like a pound cake, coffee cake. It's a cake with coffee in it already. And instead of the just plain water or the liquid, you use a really heavy coffee, a strong coffee. And of course, your inspiration at home coffees are very strong because that's how I like it. Now, I made a simple syrup as well out of our Turkish coffee. Now, I know the Americans are going, but we don't have it yet, but you will, so hang on to this recipe, all right? So I've done a simple syrup, the same recipe, 2 cups sugar, 3 cups water, and I've used a very, very, very strong brewed coffee. So I've already done the coffee, mixed it in here, and reduced it down. All right, so instead of the 3 cups water, I've done 3 cups coffee and reduced it down already. So it's, yeah, it's amazing.
A little rich, huh?
Yeah. So I'm just going to pour it on the coffee cake here. And you can see what a great addition for those people who maybe aren't tea drinkers and want to have a lovely, and it really gives some moisture into that. It becomes a fantastic dessert or a cake. And I know that everyone who sampled that a little earlier went, oh, I can't believe it. So the Turkish coffee is cardamom. It's got cinnamon and allspice, the aromatic spices. All right. So I'm going to pass this over here. And we're going to talk about some sandwiches, because high tea always has to have a little finger sandwiches, right? So what we've done is we just got our steak and our chicken, and a lot of people get intimidated of what do I use, how do I use our spices on protein. So all you do, and I've done the Casablanca and the chicken already cooked, but I just want to show you, I put it in the cap. Always when you're sprinkling our product, put it in the cap, sprinkle it on here, and of course, I'm not going to do it here.
With Casablanca. Okay.
But I would normally just press it in and rub it in. Now, I love the little grill machines, so what I did earlier was I had, and you'll see it on the pictures, is I had the chicken and the beef grilling at the same time. Same thing here. We have used the herb and garlic on the chicken that you'll see finished, and we'll show you how to make these gorgeous little sandwiches for high tea. So, lots of ideas there. Okay, let's move this out of the way. You can put this on the stove over there and get those out of the way. All right. Ready to pop those in the oven? How great do those look?
I'm almost. I need to put the egg wash on.
Okay. Yeah. And Ruth is ready with the lemon topping, so let's have a look at what she's doing. So Ruth, explain what you're doing at this point. You're just
Okay, yes, this was the lemon, the zest and the juice from 3 fresh lemons, 3 eggs, sugar, flour, and we just whisked it together, and we're going to put it on there and bake it, and it'll be a nice lemon topping.
And then we put this on top.
Do we put the lemon myrtle duca on top of it?
beautiful.
Wait,
That's too later.
that's after it bakes.
Is it? Okay, so we'll do that after it bakes.
All right, and I know we're getting the little finger food sandwiches going. This is a very busy kitchen with so many people working away. So what are we starting with? What's the first sandwich that you're going to prepare today?
Okay, I'm going to be making the pesto chicken.
Oh, and this is, sorry, we forgot to introduce, this is Kimberly, a brand new consultant. We love to have new consultants with us at the event. So Kimberly's getting her feet wet, jumping in and helping out.
Okay. So I'm going to take some of this and I'm going to just drizzle it on your baguette here. Now this is the Mediterranean extra virgin olive oil, and the this
Capsicum pesto.
right here.
Beautiful. So you just drizzle that on, just get some moisture onto the baguette. And that was a freshly baked baguette earlier today. I popped it in the oven. I love those ones when you're really busy that come already ready to go. And all you have to do is put it in the oven and bake it like you've freshly made it.
Okay, and then I'm going to add some chicken. Top here. Nice piece there. And some beautiful grape tomatoes. I love grape tomatoes. Ooh, that one dropped. Always happens.
Good thing we have some extras, right?
That's right.
All right, so topping it up. How gorgeous are those turning out? Excellent.
Beautiful.
So the chicken just has herb and garlic. So we're combining some flavors on here. And you can do little thin slices of tomatoes. It really is up to you. We're just showing you the flavors that go together.
And then we're going to top it with some more of our beautiful oil mixture.
Excellent.
And then finally, we're going to take some of this Mediterranean dukkha, which is one of my favorites.
So you've got to
And just a little bit.
perfect. So we've got herb and garlic, pesto, the Mediterranean olive oil with a little sprinkle of the Mediterranean dukkha. Fantastic. Love it. Okay. I'm going to leave you to go on to the next one, and
Okay,
I'll pop over here. And let's do some wine, and hopefully this is a twist. Yep, excellent. So I'm going to show you another thing that you can do is you buy craft wines or craft beers, and instead of having just a regular, this is a cold cider. For those of you who are in Australia, you want to have a cold cider. So cold cider, and what we're going to do is take our masala chai. Let me just find it here. I will get the right one here. All right, masala chai. And we're going to pop that in. And we're going to create a craft cider. So this is a hard apple cider. And we're just going to let it sit there and create this beautiful craft cider. So we'll let that sit for about 20 to 30 minutes to taste. And we're also going to do this with wine. So you can make a wine cocktail or just, I know that's the wrong glass, but I've got a bit of a mess here. So, so I've just used an Australian white wine. This is a Yellowtail Moscato. So it's a bit of a sweet wine. And with that, I'm going to add, you can, there's a few that don't work with them. We tried. we had our taste buds destroyed at the director's retreat with some of these, but there's a couple that work really well. With cider, we use the chai and the South African sunrise, and they're beautiful with apple cider. With pear cider, Hawaiian hibiscus is incredible. Everyone loved that one, and the Russian orange with pear cider. Now, with the wine, you've got a few choices. With the reds, the Cab Sauv, fantastic with London Fog tea. It's amazing. And also, of course, red with the spices, the aromatics, the masala chai tea works fantastic. So what we loved with the white wine is the more grassy herbal tea. So an herbal tea in your white wine. All right, and again, you just let this. You would use the whole bottle and let it sit for about 20 to 30 minutes. You don't want to overpower it, and you can see with that the colors that are starting to happen in that one, and the wine will turn a little bit more yellow. All right, so we're going to do sacrilege for your beer drinkers. We're going to do a flavored beer. Now, where did my beer bug go? I'm probably there. It is. Probably staring right at it. Okay, so just an average everyday beer. You can even use Stella, which is a little bit more expensive beer, but the type of beer doesn't really matter so much. If you're using a craft beer, it's already a craft beer. So what you want to do is you just want to take an average everyday beer and make it into a beautiful, almost craft beer taste way to get some great flavors into the beer. So what we found for beer was the teas Moroccan mint. Beautiful. Who would have thought mint and beer go together? And it was absolutely gorgeous. The South African Sunrise, which is actually a rooibos tea with some citrus notes. So in the U.S., you'd be familiar with Blue Moon. It really has that lovely orange citrus to it. This is very similar to that. So you can take an average everyday beer and get a very great citrusy flavor by adding the tea to it. Lemon Soother was also great. Russian orange, you've got that really strong tea flavor plus the orange on there as well. And London Fog. So we've already got the bergamot in there, which is the flavor that comes through there with a hint of vanilla. So you think orange, bergamot, and vanilla and tea. And let's do that one in this beer, because that was our favorite when we were doing it. It's not that one. There we are. Okay. And let those sit for about 20, 30 minutes. Now I also want to do, is anybody ready over there to show off? All right, we're going to go back over to sandwiches. Well, then I'll make some cocktails.
All right, so this is going to be a pinwheel sandwich. So I'm adding finishing up my cream cheese here, and we're adding the beef that we made earlier.
And you can also flavor the cream cheese. So if you want to do an extra added zing to it, you can use the dill and onion with this. You can use the beef, Mongolian beef with the tzatziki is fantastic together. This one is Casablanca and just the regular cream cheese, but you can add flavored cream cheese to it. It would also be good if you wanted to mix the not only a dip mix in there, but you could also do a vinegar in the cream cheese. So the caramelized vinegar would be beautiful in there too. So I want to give you lots of ideas that, we've got not only for tea, but also for a fantastic, we would need a different knife over there. We'll just give you a sharper knife. For lunchbox. So tired of having your everyday lunch box, you can do that. You can also, instead of cream cheese, use some mayonnaise too. All right, so we just cut those, you roll them tight and you cut them into, it takes about 3 slices to get, 1 or 2, 3 slices off there to get a pinwheel. And there you go, you've got some wonderful additions to your tea, not just our sweet tea treats, but our savories as well. So Carol, how are you going over there?
Well, we've got our chocolate cake starting here, and I'm just whisking the butter and the sugar together in the flour.
So we can't have a tea party without chocolate. Well, that's my
Absolutely.
rule anyway. So this is actually double chocolate cake. So we've got We're going to do it into a loaf cake, so it's really easy. So what are the ingredients you're adding there?
Okay, then we add eggs. You tell her.
And you could do this one with, now which dukkha are you? I know you're going to use a dukkha, so
Yes.
which dukkha are you using there?
We've got the Black Forest, and then we're going to do the chocolate raspberry truffle. And of course, you get some chocolate chips and some milk yet.
Well, that sounds like a triple chocolate cake, doesn't it?
It is.
You could easily do this with the chopped almond dukkha, and the chili chop would be beautiful as well. So, you know, it's up to you to experiment and have fun with this one. I know everyone loves the chopped raspberry truffle. It's our #1 chocolate, and the Black Forest goes so beautifully with it, with that same raspberry flavor through both. All right. Okay, and you're going to cook that one for about 45 minutes, is that right?
Yes.
All right, and we'll put it in a loaf pan. And I think we've got one that we prepared a little earlier.
Yes, we do.
Excellent. We're starting to wise up what they do on TV. So here's one we prepared earlier. So we've got that beautiful rich, if you can just lift up that slice and see the chocolate dukkha through there. There'll be a few of the cherries that will pop through because, of course, we use organic dried cherries there. And gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
Smells
let's
wonderful.
talk about some of the specials as well. So right now, of course, with the Mega Party, we always do specials. And we released them early this time, and all the consultants are happy, cheering, and the comments back was fantastic. So 3 specials that you can, that you can get from the Mega Tea Party. Now, the first one is the Mega Tea Rose, and you get the rose sugar, the white chocolate rose powder, the rose white chocolate dukkha, so you can make those. Oh, we've got something else coming out that you don't know about yet. And that normally retails for $47.85. You can get it for $39.95 until Sunday in Australia, 10 p.m. And I think the consultants all know the cutoff time for the U.S. as well. Then we've got the Mega Tea Lemon, which is the lemon myrtle dukkha, the organic lemon soother tea, the lemon myrtle sugar, and the lemon myrtle chocolate powder. And that one is regular $63.80, and you get it for $49.95. Then we've got the Mega Tea Orange, so Russian orange tea, the sweet orange sugar, the chopped orange powder, and you get that one for $44.95. Then finally we have the Mega Tea dips, because you know dips always, it's one of our mainstays in our company. It's one of the things we're known for. So you get the country onion and chives dip, which is fantastic in the scones. The Tuscan style capsicum pesto, which you saw on the baguette. And the Bay of Bengal curry dip, which we're going to use right now, I believe, for a bit of egg salad. So that's perfect time, and that one's $39.95.
Okay, so this is the cured egg salad. So I'm mixing 3 chopped hard-boiled eggs with some celery and some the Bay of Bengal curry dip. And so that was in the mayonnaise, so I'm going to put that in there. And then we're going to add some of our celery over here. Beautiful. Love the smell of the celery and the eggs. Mix that all up really nice.
All right.
So I'm going to start spreading it on my sandwiches. And
Okay, and how's that going?
oh, they're beautiful.
So you've got to have those beautiful little sandwiches that tea parties are known for. All right, well, I'm going to be doing a mojito. So Aussies want to have a mojito. So all I've done is I've taken an orange peel, got the orange wedge, run it around there, got the juice on it, and you can use either the orange sugar, or I've done the mojito sugar on here. So got that ready. Now we're going to do what we call a Mediterranean mojito. So a little bit different than what you're used to, but we love to mix it up here. So I'm just going to put it in the shaker just to make it easy for myself. So I'm going to, now you can do, you can do this with ginger ale, or you can do it with soda, because we're going to use basil. And normally you do it with soda water. If I can get Tina just to grab me the ginger ale out of the fridge. But you can eat, I found that if the basil and ginger together are lovely. So we're going to do the syrup we're going to do. You can mix it up with everything, but we're going to do the South African sunrise syrup. Which is this one here. Lovely orange syrup. And again, I'm going to use a good 2-3 tablespoons of that. Probably 4 because I love sugar. I love sweet. I don't love sugar, I love sweet. So that again is just the simple syrup with the South African sunrise tea in there. Then we're going to have a little splash of cranberry juice. I'm going to make a good size drink. And of course we need Bacardi. So this is more than one person's drink. So I'm going to put a good 3 ounces in there. And some orange wedges. So I'll just break those up in here. So this is in replace of the lime. So if you've ever made a mojito, know that I'm doing it instead of the lime. Now here's the thing that is just amazing in it is fresh basil. Okay, basil or basil, whatever you say, just depends on what country you're from. Now normally you just want to muddle it, but I don't have a very large container, so I'm just going to give it a light shake in the shaker. Very light shake. I don't want to smash it all up. I want to muddle it. So this isn't going to be a long shake enough, but just give it a bit of a shake there. Get the orange pieces floating around, smashing up, delivering some of that beautiful orange. And we'll just, here we go, take that off, give it a stir. And we've got a lovely mojito. Now, I'm going to actually put it in this glass because I think it's fabulous in here. And you want to make sure you get lots of the basil in there. Give it a stir. And you have a delicious Mediterranean mojito. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so summer cocktail for you. Now, if someone can press the button on the kettle, I'm going to have I know that the rest of America is going, but what about me? I want something warm and toasty. You talked about tea, I want to have a tea. No, the kettle. Yeah, over there. All right, we're just going to get a, oh, I didn't use the glass I was going to. Oh, there we go. Let's put it in this one. Then we're going to do a hot buttered rum. And to make it, you know, I bought hot buttered rum mixes before when I was always wanting to do something quick and easy. But I think what I found was you don't need to. And they're always really, really sugary. They don't have that real smooth, buttery flavor like when you go into a pub in England and you want to have a hot buttered rum that's separate from a hot toddy. Those are two different things. A hot toddy I'll show you a little bit later if we have time. But the recipe will go on the web for that. Okay, so what we do is you take a stick of butter, which is, I'll give you the directions for in Australia. It would be about 1/4 of a pound of butter. 2 cups of brown sugar. Now you can use light or dark. I prefer the dark. In fact, I prefer to add a little molasses into mine. And a teaspoon and a half of our apple pie seasoning and a teaspoon and a half of our pumpkin pie seasoning. So you're going to blend the two together. One is a top note. One is more of the richer nutmeg flavor of the pumpkin pie seasoning. So when you blend the two together, you get a very similar flavor to hot buttered rum. Pinch of salt and dark rum. Now you can use a spiced rum or you can just use a plain dark rum. And of course boiling water. Now, as luck would have it, I happen to have some here. All right, so this is one I whipped up a little earlier. You can see it. What you do is you put it in the fridge. You put it in the fridge, and I've just taken it out so you can see how rich that is. It's not sugary at all. That's a hot butter rum that's not been mixed enough. You really want to get that lovely smoothness into your hot buttered rum. So, to make a hot buttered rum, you take a couple tablespoons of the hot buttered rum mix and some boiling water. And you can also put a lemon wedge with it if you like. And once we get the kettle boiling, we will do that up. And all you do is stir it. And on a day like we've had recently, and those of you in Minnesota and Michigan are probably still having, I heard New York is still cold, perhaps we've started to warm up here in Ohio. This is beautiful. I had to test it last night, and I'll tell you, in the cold weather, it was perfect. So that is a hot buttered rum. Okay, now to do a hot toddy, it's a little bit different. We're going to use chai tea. So here we go. We're back on the tea there. And so a chai tea, I'll use one of these glasses. You can use the same type of glass I just used. I'm going to use one of these ones. So a chai tea is, hot chai toddy. You take the chai tea bag. I will make one up here. So to make these bags up, all we do is, they're wonderful. They're a tea bag that's not been sealed. And if we have enough requests for them, we will get them in at some point. So we just take a teaspoon, 1 or 2 teaspoons of the chai tea. We're going to pop this in with the hot water, which I think is ready. All right. And I'll pop that into the, so making a tea, and you want it, because you're going to be doing flavors to it, I would probably steep it a little bit longer than the 2 to 3 minutes for the average tea. And especially with the chai and all the spices, you can really pull that one out a little bit longer. Okay, so there's that hot buttered rum. You can see it's just going to be beautiful, creamy. Hot buttered rum. Okay, now let's go to the hot toddy. Teas is it's really interesting to serve teas in so many different ways. So we've got the chai spices. Now you can add honey, or we're going to try it. Instead of honey, I'm going to use, it says normally a tablespoon of honey. I'm going to use our, this one is our cinnamon twist honey. Now that's a powdered honey. And it's got a little bit of ginger, some cinnamon, some fantastic aromatic spices. Okay. All right, and it stirs in beautifully. Let's see, beautiful. Okay, we'll let that sit for a minute. But we're also going to add, oh, there we go, some more of that bourbon. So a couple ounces of bourbon. And you'll top it off with a lemon, slice of lemon or a lemon wedge. All right, and I'll just let that sit. But there you go, that is a hot toddy, but a tea hot toddy. All right. Okay, so where are we going with the sandwiches? Let's go back over to Kimberly, who is doing our beautiful salmon sandwiches here. So a typical high tea is, of course, having smoked salmon, and that smoked salmon is from, if you have a look here, Pike Place Market. And for those of you who are at Pike Place Market as part of our incentive trip, you'll remember this, and those of you who weren't, I guess you better be at New Zealand. All right, so we've got a beautiful, fantastic New Zealand incentive trip coming up. And for those of you who haven't read it yet in your newsletter, guess what? It is double incentive points this weekend. So Saturday and Sunday for all your sales and all your sponsoring. So those of you who are sitting here thinking, you know what, maybe I'd like to be part of this crazy company, fantastic food and a lot of fun, then when you join today, the person who sponsored you is going to get double their incentive trip points. So help them out, get them started. And you can get an apron from one of our fantastic cooking experiences in New Zealand this year. All right, Kimberly, we're back over to you. I've taken over. So what we're doing here, so we've got the smoked salmon all the way from Pike Place Market. We've got slices of cucumbers, and you've got cream cheese.
Cream cheese.
Yeah,
and we use the tzatziki.
Yep, excellent.
And it smells wonderful.
Beautiful. So flavors that really work. We're going to make little tiny finger sandwiches, of course, for high tea, if we were to serve high tea. And doesn't that plate starting to look gorgeous there? I'm getting really hungry because, of course, doing these webinars, these live streams this late at night, we're all looking at the food going, all right, hurry, finish this. Hurry, finish this up. All right. Great. So we've got about 6 or 7 minutes left because we went over. We're going to continue on here. And Kylie, how is it going with these lemon bars? They look fantastic. So what did you sprinkle on top there?
I used the lemon myrtle dukkha and the lemon myrtle sugar and just mixed them together on top.
All right, and just so that has you know, a dukkha is ground seed. So instead of just the lemon curd on the top of the lemon bar, we've got the dukkha on top with the nuts, the cranberries. You pulled the cranberries out, a little bit of sugar to give it that crust on top. So we've got the beautiful lemon dukkha in the crust. Then we've got the lemon on the lemon curd. Lemon pudding, lemon curd, whatever you're going to call it, and then sprinkled on top is that dukkha. I cannot wait to try this, hey? How gorgeous is that? Okay. All right, do you want to do the rosemary? Yeah, the biscotti. So we've got a treat. Now, I've never made biscotti before. I came across a recipe that I thought would have been absolutely perfect for us because it was pistachio biscotti. So Kim has bravely put together this biscotti. So can you talk about how you did that?
Absolutely. We started with some plain flour and baking powder. Then we added 1/4 cup of sugar. And this recipe will be online, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then we took the rose white chocolate and pistachio dukkha and 3/4 cup of this and added 3 eggs lightly beaten. Mixed it all up. Made this nice log. It goes in the oven for about 30 minutes. And then it comes out. You slice it, bake it again for 15, and then it comes out and you have it nicely plated. Yeah.
There you go.
And we're going to add some.
Yeah, we would add some, I would love to use that with our Turkish coffee. I think that would be you know, fantastic. You've got the richness of the rose and pistachios, and then of course the spices of the in the Turkish coffee. I just think it's a beautiful combination. So who knew that our dukkahs would be so fabulous and biscotti? So yeah, beautiful. All right, we're gonna finish off, I think, here with one more cocktail before we go, because I've got these gorgeous martini glasses. We should use them. Now what we're going to do is what we call the safari martini. So it's going to be South African sunrise syrup, muddled orange, gin, ice, and if you have the crystallized ginger, it's fantastic as well. And of course you can rim this as well. And if I could just have a couple more orange slices there, that would be great. So you can rim the martini glass. And let's get this going. So I'm going to add my ice. Okay. And then I'm going to use my South African syrup. Just here. And a couple, you got to do it to taste, but I'm going to put a couple of the, now remember this is a non-caffeine tea. It's a rooibos tea with honeybush as well, and 3 different types of citrus. So I'm going to add that there. And so we've got some orange coming. Perfect. I'm going to put a couple of orange slices in here because I really want to get some of that orange. I'm going to really shake this one because I want that orange to come right through in there. And I'm going to use our gin. Now, let's go back to what I put in that gin, because I think that I can use that gin that's already flavored. Yes, it's got masala chai in it, so that will be fine. Which one is, there we go. That would be fine to use here. So you can use a plain gin or a flavored gin. There we go. Getting some real strong. This one is going to have some tea, now some tea flavor in it as well. Both in the gin and in the syrup. I'm going to give that a really good taste. And there we go. Now hands off, everyone. This one's mine. It is fantastic. Love it. So again, you can, of course, if you want the extra, like we've done on the mojito, rim the glass, and you've got that beautiful one. Now, one other thing that I want to talk about is, of course, hot chocolate. Who doesn't love a hot chocolate? Now, I don't have the actual recipe when we'll make a hot chocolate for you tonight, but I just want to give you a little sneak peek at some of the chocolates that are coming up. I've had so much fun in this cold weather thinking about hot chocolate and coming up just across different recipes that have wine, red wine, and dark chocolate together. They're 2 things that you know, people love to put together. I've actually put it together in a chocolate powder. So we have a chocolate, so milk chocolate, a dark chocolate, so very much like the truffle base, with a red wine burgundy powder. So we call that burgundy truffle, coming up soon. I know that you've been waiting to hear what some of the new products are. We also have what's called a Buckeye hot chocolate. And of course, those of you in Ohio know what I'm talking about, but this is a dry peanut butter mixed with our milk chocolate and a hint of salt, and it's just gorgeous.
Heard about that one, Colleen.
Yeah, so that one's gorgeous. It will be great in a hot chocolate, and of course, those of you who love cheesecakes are thinking, oh my goodness, a Buckeye cheesecake. It's already done for me. Fantastic. I'm thinking some martinis for those people who like the sweet martinis would be gorgeous. Another hot chocolate, of course, those of you who have asked for mint. We've got dark chocolate mint coming as well. And for those of you from way back, you'll know this is a bring back from one that we just couldn't get made for us anymore. So we're actually making that one in-house. So we're really excited to have that recipe nailed down. I think there's another one. Oh, yes, let's see, Canadian maple. So, you know, caramel, the salted caramels everywhere. I thought, you know what, I'm going to do something a little different. Why not do a salted maple? Well, I did with the chocolate. It is unbelievable. So those of you who like maple, you've got a salted maple coming up in hot chocolate. And I'm not going to tell you anything more, but just to know that beautiful hot chocolates around the corner, and I can't wait to share those with you. So one other special for today we've got is for those of you who are consultants. Okay, this is a consultant-only special on top of this fantastic weekend where you get double your incentive trip points. You also get a bonus for every $200 demo or party order that you put in. You get a little surprise there, and it's likely going to be a beetroot dip. So know that you'll get a surprise if you close your orders by 10 tonight. And I think you've also got your newsletter to tell you everything else that is on the special. So hopefully I haven't missed anything from our fantastic specials. Remember, hostesses, you get an opportunity to get the mega packs at half price as well. Okay, with that, let's wrap it up. And I really fantastic night tonight. Did I miss anything else that you guys were going to show before we wrap up and go? Oh, but we forgot to show this. No, we're all good? All right. So thank you, everyone, for joining us for our first ever Mega Tea Party. I hope that you learned a little bit more about tea. I didn't actually show you how to make tea because this is way past just making tea. All of these things you need to be you would want to use a loose tea to get the really great flavors. All of our teas are organic teas themselves. All the ingredients, of course, are either wild crafted or organic, where we are able to get those as well. I think that's it. So again, thank you all of our volunteers tonight. So Kylie, Ruth, Kimberly, and Carol, and of course behind the scenes, Kelly, Tina, and Ty. So thank you very much, and I hope you had a great morning or evening in the US or wherever you may be. So thanks, everyone. Fire up.